Good evening, everyone. May I have your attention, please? Hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm Prajita. I am the trustee of Community Pure Water, and it's a delight to have you all here. Sorry we had to be delayed a little bit, but hope you had refreshments and all set for the evening. So it is my pleasure to share with you an exciting announcement as we prepare for one of our most eventful events of the upcoming year, the Community Pure Water Annual Fundraiser 2026, which will take place on January 31st, 2026 in Hyderabad. This year's fundraiser promises to be a night of grandeur and purpose, hosted at the iconic Chow Mahalla Palace. It will be an evening where history, culture, cuisine, and compassion come together for a cause that touches every life, that is safe drinking water for every person. The fundraiser dinner will bring together leaders, philanthropists, corporate partners, and change makers who share our mission of improving access to clean, pure water for the underdeserved communities, schools, and healthcare institutions across India. Their presence will help us amplify our impact and move closer to a future where every person has the basic dignity of water. We are thrilled to announce a truly exceptional experience, a 6-course gourmet experience curated by India's top 3 chefs, namely Thomas Zacharias, Shashikant Chelia, and Vinesh Johnny. Each will present their own signature interpretation of flavor and innovation, creating a culinary experience unlike any other. Guests will dine at the magnificent Chow Mahalla Palace in the long table setup beneath the palace's shimmering chandeliers and open courtyards surrounded by some of India's most inspiring personalities, cultural icons, and change makers. This evening will not only be a celebration, it will be a powerful opportunity to make real and long-lasting impacts on our community across the country. We look forward to welcoming you on 31st of January 2026 for a night that blends elegance and impact and purpose with experience. Together, let us continue building a future where every drop counts and every person has access to safe drinking water in India. We are now happy to announce that Race to Win Foundation will be presenting the first annual CPW fundraiser gala. The Race to Win Foundation is dedicated to creating a kinder, healthier, and a more empowered world through 2 core commitments: animal welfare and community development. Founded by Y.B. Gopi Reddy sir, the foundation believes that the well-deserving of animals and the strength of communities are deeply connected, and they work every day to uplift both. We are happy to have the founder of Race to Convention, Mr. Y. Gopi Rao sir, join us this evening. Thank you. We would now like to unveil the poster for the 31st January 2026 annual gala. We invite on stage Sri Jayesh Ranjanji, Special Chief Secretary, Tourism, Culture and Sports, Government of Telangana. Please, sir. Mr. Ravi Reddy, founder of Community Pure Water. Mr. Y.P. Gopi Rao, founder, Race to Win Foundation. Mrs. Pratiksha Prashant, board member, Community Pure Water, and the chairperson of the fundraising committee. And lastly, Lakshmi Konamneni, trustee of CPW. Ms. Regina Cassandra, actor and activist. Can we have you on stage, please? Jayesh sir, can we have you on stage to say a few words to our audience, please?
Thank you. Greetings. Good evening, everyone. First of all, congratulations to Ravi Reddy Garu, Gopirao Garu, and all the other trustees of Community Pure Water. What you have been doing so far, what you have accomplished so far is truly outstanding, and sincere congratulations to all of you. Many of you who live in Hyderabad would be familiar that on the 8th and 9th, government is organizing a very big event. It's called the Telangana Rising Global Summit. And some information about the summit has already come out, but I can give you she told me to say only a few words. Maybe I'm speaking many words, but I'll still try to be brief. So what has happened is that for the past 5 months actually, we have worked very diligently to prepare the vision document for our state. What will the state look like? What will it evolve into by 2047? All of us know that 2047 is an important milestone for our country. We become 100 years old as an independent nation. So what kind of economic progress will be achieved? What kind of social progress will be achieved? What kind of sustainability goals that we will achieve? So one very important factor is that when we looked at the human development indices in our state, while they are good as compared to states in the north, states in the east, etc. But within the southern states, we are not really the leaders. There are many other southern states. We know who they are. Kerala is one of the best in terms of human development, social indicators, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry. So we are somewhere in between. And we felt that this is one area where our roadmap to achieve the vision goals must really prioritize, must really focus on. And amongst the social development indicators or the human development indicators, the nutrition data, nutrition parameters are very, very poor. I mean, I won't say very poor, but they're kind of relatively lower. And obviously we all know intuitively what is the role of water in all that, pure water. When a baby is born, when a child is born, and all of us know this, that by kind of drinking contaminated water, dysentery, etc., is a kind of a condition or a disease which brings the weight of the baby alarmingly low, and despite whatever happens thereafter, the child continues to suffer from multiple setbacks, multiple disabilities. And therefore, in that context also, the responsibility of all the stakeholders, including the government, to ensure that on nutritional parameters we make advancements, we make progress, is very, very important. This is all the more important because when the vision document is released on the 9th, you will notice that the headline for that is that Telangana aspires to be a $3 trillion economy. And it is not impossible, it is doable, it is achievable, but the people who helped us prepare the document, professors from the Indian School of Business, they told us that one very important requirement, I mean, if you miss that, you just won't be able to reach anywhere, will be that the human productivity, the productivity of human capital has to go up 1.75 times. So all of us who live in Telangana, who work in Telangana, who will join the workforce in the future, in the coming 22 years, they have to perform far more than what we are doing now, 1.75 times more. And therefore, having healthy human capital is very, very important. If you are suffering from childhood disabilities or something has happened at a very early stage in your life which has pulled you back and you are not in a position to recover, then obviously there's nothing that you can do great for the state. So it makes sense economically also for us to invest in pure water, sanitation, better nutrition management from a very, very early age. And unfortunately, there is a correlation of all these in poor neighborhoods. In the urban city, in like Hyderabad, the working class neighborhoods, what we call as bastis, in the rural areas, impoverished areas, where more number of Dalits, Girijans live, and so on and so forth. So I'm happy that collectively, Community Pure Water for so many years, for decades now, has tried to raise awareness, has actually constructed toilets, has constructed drinking water, pure drinking water supply systems, reverse osmosis systems, and as a result, definite, very visible change and social impact has been seen. So I'm great that through this fundraiser, which is happening on the 31st of January, many like-minded people will gather and pledge their support, show their solidarity in the works which Community Pure Water is doing. I'm very happy that this gala has been planned in a very kind of something which is not common in Hyderabad. You are bringing three best master chefs from the country. In fact, I follow a very tough diet plan. I eat only once a day. I follow this OMAD. I'm really worried what will happen. Should I kind of break my diet plan, or shall I eat only in the night on that day? But it's very, very tempting. I look forward to that event. The 6-course gourmet offering at the fantastic Chowmahalla Palace will be something that we should all look forward to. It will be a night to remember. And thank you, Ravi Garu, Peter, Mrs. Reddy, Gopi Garu, Regina, Meghna, and everyone else, Chaitanya, and everyone else who is supporting this initiative. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure having you here, and thank you for taking out time for this precious cause. It means a lot to us. Now I'd like to introduce and invite Ms. Pratiksha Prashant, board member and chairperson of the fundraising committee, to present the opening address.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pratiksha Prashant, board member and chairperson of the fundraising committee at Community Pure Water, and it's truly my pleasure to welcome you all this evening. We are gathered here this evening for a conversation that is both urgent and full of hope. As we look ahead to our annual fundraiser on January 31st, 2026, tonight's event, Solving Water, Unlocking Progress, invites us to reflect on why safe water remains one of the most critical foundations of health and dignity, and how solving it transforms entire communities. Across rural India and many parts of the world, unsafe water continues to hold families back from health, from education, from opportunity. Yet, when a community gains reliable access to safe drinking water, everything changes. That transformation is at the heart of CPW's mission, and your presence here strengthens that mission. We are joined here today by three leaders who each approach water from different but deeply complementary lenses. Mr. Ravi Reddy, founder of Community Pure Water, who has built one of India's most reliable and impactful community-run safe water networks. Ms. Kalpana Ramesh, founder of the Rainwater Project, a nationally recognized champion for rainwater harvesting, urban water conservation, and decentralized water solutions. Mr. Peter Swajenbauer, I hope I got it right, global business leader, sustainability advocate with Friends of Water, and former BMW board member with decades of experience in global responsibility and environmental leadership. Please join me in welcoming our panelists, and guiding this conversation tonight is someone who brings grace, depth, and heartfelt curiosity to every story she engages with. Our moderator, Ms. Regina Cassandra, acclaimed actress and someone who cares deeply about social causes and community well-being. Thank you, Regina, for being here and for leading this important dialogue. To all our guests, your presence fuels our mission. Together, we move closer to ensuring that every rural family has access to safe water for all for life. With that, I warmly invite Regina to begin the discussion, and please, I welcome all my panelists to come on stage. Thank you.
good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here on stage with all of y'all, Kalpana ma'am, Ravi sir, and Mr. Peter. I'll start off with one line that really struck me the moment I was asked to moderate this panel discussion, and that is water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. I'm sure all of us are familiar with that line, and I feel like it's very apt with today's scenario. Without further ado, Peter, my first question would be to you. You've worked globally on sustainability and environmental leadership. From your vantage point, how do you see the global water crisis unfolding today? And what should the world be paying urgent attention to?
Wow, you're starting with a big one. I think the first topic I would say is what I realized talking to many people around the world is that the value of the water is not clear enough to all of us. You know, especially when you live in big cities, water is available anywhere, everywhere, and anytime you want to have it. So I think people don't understand the real value of water anymore. And this makes it, comes to the second part of your question, this makes it, in my eyes, a lot more difficult of getting people really engaged in this cause, because we don't have this. So if I would have a wish, you know, I would like to start a more deep discussion about what is the real value of water for all of us. And I think this would resolve many topics which we currently can't.
So more awareness and engaging the youth and everyone else. Ma'am, your work in cities like Hyderabad has shown how quickly water scarcity can escalate even in urban settings. Why does access to safe drinking water remain such a persistent challenge despite decades of development efforts?
That's a very, very good question because we often forget water and planning water in our urban settings or rural settings. We look at development often does not include planning water or safeguarding the resources that we already have. It could be natural resources or built resources from many years before, because we live in the Deccan Plateau, and it is very, very challenging as far as the geology is concerned and many other things. Today we depend heavily on river water that's transported to cities. So even now the scarcity happens more in the peri-urban and that where there is no municipal water supply. So when you read scarcity in the papers, it's typically no municipal water connections in certain areas. This is concerning drinking water. But today's water is 60% of water is from groundwater. Even though we get 585 mgd, which is million gallons of liter to the city every day, which can serve 1.4 to 1.5 crore of people, which is our population as a city. But 40%, the government itself says 40% goes away in losses and non-revenue water and getting tapped in number of places and contaminated. And when it reaches the city, from different distribution points in the city, the HMW centers, the water is tested for contamination. They treat it with a lot of chlorine and then it is distributed. So first of all, how much chlorine intake can you take every day? This is a question to answer. Often we don't quantify our water or we don't understand the quality of water we get. So after 40% losses, this is only for the human population. Now we have manufacturing, we have landscape and forests and all of this that needs water, and also birds and biodiversity that needs water. So 60% of this water, even after you transport a huge amount of water to cities, we still depend on our groundwater, and 60% of that groundwater is what we drink today through our RO plants and such. So what comes as groundwater is contaminated in multiple ways, and the reason is us. because 80% of the cities are concreted today. Even villages, most of the roads are concreted today, so there's no way for natural drainage of water. And most often, sewage and storm water, there's nothing called stormwater channels. We have only hybrid channels, and which carry sewage as well as rainwater. And these reach our aquifers, and these are contaminated. So that contaminated resource, which can be a lake, which can be a polluted well, is connected to the entire ecosystem. It is not just that water. So when it reaches our ecosystem, the people in the city draw water from ground, and 60% of it is drinking water, which we think is safe, which is not quite safe. So in the sense that water is invisible, and our work is towards making them visible today. Because what is water needs to be understood. So I would like to add what Peter said. Awareness is missing, even in the educated societies, and how we understand water is something that has to, it has to have a paradigm shift today. Otherwise, we will lose water. Even UN called it a water action decade from 2018 to 2028. We are in 2024. And actually, do you see anyone working for water and bringing it back and on a war footing, which is what it's supposed to be? Because water action decade is what you do in this 10 years is the future of water in the next 60 years. So we are only 4 years short. So the time is short. A lot of development is happening, but not in the right direction of protecting our water ecosystems. So a lot needs to be done in this space.
Okay. Ravi sir, CPW frames the water challenge as a health crisis first. Why is health the right lens for understanding the water problem in rural India? And what do people often misunderstand about the connection between unsafe water and long-term illness?
Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge that between Jayesh Ranjan Garu and now Kalpana talking about the quality of the water and contamination. So here's the fundamental problem we have had for many, many decades. The groundwater, especially in the rural districts, rural villages, a large percentage has been contaminated over decades through pesticide usage, and it has seeped into the, so whenever we are drinking water from borewell, as Kalpana just said, is highly, highly toxic. And the problem has not been solved. I mean, we have electricity for about 60 years now in most villages in India. We have cell phones. I think somebody told me that there are more cell phones in India than toilets. So the challenge for us as, I guess, good citizens is how to solve the water issue. So fundamentally, we have to look at it as number one, to start getting our rural families to drink good quality water. So the only way we can do it in a mass scale way is to set up water purification centers in the rural communities, as many as we can. We need not one community pure water, we probably need hundreds of them around the whole country to first start making sure that the families are drinking clean, safe water right now. Many, many programs have been announced across the whole country, different states, central. The problem is the water cannot be free to the communities. It has to have a cost element to it, which the communities are actually prepared to pay for it. So once we change that mindset, I feel we will make progress. So, and we are doing our part. In terms of the health, here's the issue. Every community across this country faces waterborne diseases, which it's recognized but not solved. So, for example, 2 out of 3 hospitalizations are waterborne illnesses. And then that contributes to lost work days for the adults and lost school days for the children. So talking about, how do you get the, 2047 vision of getting people to improve or increase their productivity by 1.75, let's start with water, because that's the number one culprit for the entire communities. So there is a direct correlation that we have to tie. It's not like, see, the thing is about prevention. We cannot afford to be spending huge amounts of money after they're sick. We need to make sure they don't get sick in the first place. So it's an old wisdom that we have listened to for probably generations, is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So that is what we are trying to fix across all rural communities. So I feel there is a direct correlation between poor quality water and the families getting sick. So, and that's the number one cause. People don't understand it. I'm not saying that's the only cause, but that's the number one cause. So if we can solve that, then dramatically there'll be improvements of quality of health for the communities.
It goes hand in hand with nutrition.
Absolutely. See, the nutrition, there's midday meals and they want to, but without good quality water, the nutrition is useless. We are not solving. It's a partial solution. So, and the reason why it doesn't get solved is it's very difficult to solve water problem.
Like ma'am had said, it's invisible. We need to make it visible.
Yeah, and that's the key thing here, because it's not an easy thing to say. See, delivering midday meal is a one-time event for whoever is delivering it. Whereas water has to be there in the community every day.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, you often speak about the invisible impacts of water scarcity, especially on women, children, and low-income families. What are the human costs of unsafe or inadequate water that remain hidden from the public eye?
So I'll take 2 examples in the city and a place where I live and a restoration that we undertook in the city. So these serve as good examples because I have seen through the positives, negatives, and how we can create hope in such scenarios. In 2016, Gachibowli and if you know, that's the IT corridor here, and most of the communities there went through a serious drought kind of situation in summer. And our colony of 100 homes, because of the efforts we have done, we had enough water through that time. So we could see clearly, many of them in those communities surrounding our homes, many of them who are friends, they used to talk to me and multiple challenges that they go through. So women going to offices often, they were like planning their time when they're going to get the water and how much in flats, I'm talking about L&T, where they're looking at how else can I store 4 more buckets of water. And I have a guest coming, so how do I manage this? Because I get water once in 3 days. So that was an eye-opener to many in the communities, and many communities took up serious rainwater harvesting and started looking at what can be undone. So that is one scenario where I saw children and women hit in a big way. They started, if you ask any family, the women in the family know when you need a tanker, when you need water, how much of water is available in the house. Women sort of manage that. So when there is a crisis with water, clearly, whether it's in the urban or rural, women take that brunt of that. So that clearly affects their, you're mentally shut down when there's no water in the house. Till the tanker arrives and till there's water, it's a shutdown, literally. So, and then shutdown at work, shutdown at home, and you have to sort of do this crisis management, and children are major stakeholders here. So mothers always worry about children, more than themselves. So you see how it was a chain reaction and how it affected so many people just in that short 2 months. Though I feel very, so much that such a drought should happen and people should not have a week of water, to see all these people who waste drinking water, to wash their cars. You don't understand the value of river water. It is food security for your next generations. We're going to double up as a population in the next 20-25 years. Where is your water? Are you going to erase rivers? Today you're getting 585 mgd of water. Now your population doubles up and from 1.4 crores goes to 2.8 crores. Where is your water? Is a question we need to answer. So becoming sustainable is very important. Another example is the Bansilal Pit stepwell restoration, which is one of the largest stepwell restorations in an urban area. So when we opened up a completely filled up dump yard of a well, we found black water at 25 feet, literally gushed out. It was like it was a shut aquifer, and we opened up, and it was black water, and most of them thought it is sewage water that's connected. Actually, there was no sewage. It was the leachate that came from the garbage, and wells and water has a memory. It goes to these points and it drains in the well, right? So every time there's a monsoon, the water connects with this sewage, because that's what is there, and it becomes black water. And this used to go to 200 bore wells around. It's like a ripple effect. And all of this is an invisible story. On top, it's a dump yard, but what's happening below that is miserable. It's like almost like most of us today, I say we live in luxury slums. Luxury slums is the word I would like to say, because that's what it is. We don't see what's water and water ecosystem. We just think our apartment is clean and you only see the aesthetics on top, but what's happening as water, what's happening to your wastewater, what's drawn up as groundwater, and how much of water that you protect, and what is source sustainability. Can your borewell in your apartment provide you water for the next 100 years? Have you planned that? Because you get rainwater at your doorstep, literally. What have you done with that water? So we have excess water as a city. We don't manage it. Women can manage that in smaller communities. So I really want more women to come into this space. I think you guys can manage within larger communities, your streets. That's what, water and impact is not somebody's problem, it's everybody's problem. Everybody needs, no government can solve water issues going forward. Everyone needs to take responsibility as a citizen, as a human being. You need to put back water. What water you consume, can you make sure in your lifetime, the water that you've consumed, can you put it back as groundwater and improve the groundwater? That should be your goal. And I think many things will go away. I mean, we often think, one person, one family, what can we do? You can do a lot.
It is not somebody's problem, it is everybody's problem. Yes. I think that's what all of us should be paying attention to.
Can I just add a comment here? Because
Absolutely.
it touched me quite a bit, you describing the terrible situations. And I think what we have to get across is that we all should be ashamed, because it's us, the society, who is creating this situation. So I feel really bad about being not better in my past, maybe.
There's no blaming anyone, it's only taking onus, I guess. It's all on us.
It's like collectively we have created a disaster. So collectively there is hope that we can pull it back. Collectively, India has a large population. So we have the power of numbers. If all of them decide to do something right, we can create a very big impact. I mean, we don't need others to solve our problem. We can solve our own problems.
If anything, I think all of us are already a little scared and educated at the same time right now. Okay. Ravi sir, in the CPW villages, we see improvements in education, nutrition and livelihoods once safe water arrives. Why does water have such a powerful multiplier effect?
So, great question. We don't naturally associate water with so many issues and benefits we can derive from. So let's take, for example, something that we, in urban areas, most of us, I would imagine, I just want to see a show of hands, how many of you worry about not having water at home in your homes here in the city? That's few, that's few. So let me tell you, that's only a few, let's say less than 5% of the audience and here on the stage. In the villages, you know how much time and anxiety the families face? Almost 100%. The entire village is, the moment they wake up, the only challenge they have, the major challenge, they have power, but water needs to get into the house, and the women, the kids, mostly girls, they're going and spending hours to either waiting in line or trying to figure out tanker shows up, doesn't show up. And that's, to me, is such a wasted effort. So the point I want to continuously emphasize is we want to make sure that they don't even have to think that it's not there. So that's something that we are solving it, and solving it at scale. So it's not a simple act of just acknowledging it, but doing it. And that's where our model has been much more successful than many, many, many others that we have been doing it for a long time now.
Let me just build on what Ravi was saying, because I also saw that almost nobody raised their hand, because we all live in cities where water is available all the time. Let me tell you something from my experience. You should all be worried about it. And the reason is, when I was still on the BMW board, one of my responsibilities was mobility in big cities. So I traveled around the world. I talked about 20, 25 mayors of big cities around the world. And after we talked about the mobility topic, I always ask them the same question at the end. What are the 3 main concerns you have for your city? And all of them, with no exceptions, one of the 3 was water supply. So it's not that easy as we all think. It's a huge challenge also for the cities. So we just should not say only it's a rural thing. It is becoming increasingly a problem also for big cities.
Globally. Yeah.
On the same lines as well, around the world, Mr. Peter, many water initiatives fail to last. Systems break down, funding dries up, or communities lose trust. From your experience, what differentiates solutions that endure from those that don't?
I think the biggest difference sits right next to me. No, I mean it honestly. You need a kind of family engagement behind the whole thing. So when we met, I could feel that this is not only a foundation created by Ravi to make him feel good, because many foundations are sometimes made like this. So I immediately felt that this is a cause which really touches him. This was the first emotional contact. And the second was, I really liked the approach, because, it's always easy to say, I donate $5,000 and we put a machine in the school and I'm done. Tick in the box, I did my thing. And this is why many projects in the world are failing, because they are doing exactly this. They get money together, they put some machines in a place, and then they leave, and they are proud that they did a big thing. 2-3 years later, the machines are not working anymore, they're not maintained, and so on. So with Ravi's foundation, he immediately explained it to me that with the donation comes a 10 years maintenance program. So the machines are regularly maintained. I was this morning, I had the pleasure to be taken by Ravi and his wife Ingrid to a village and to 2 schools. And I saw the people really doing the work. So it's not only on paper. So there are humans responsible of doing this kind of work. And this is the big difference to other projects I have seen around the world.
Thanks, Peter. Just to emphasize something that I have observed over the years, my journey in philanthropy is really second generation. So my dad started his charitable foundation probably almost maybe half a century ago, 50 years. My foundation has been around now close to 30 years. So you learn from your parents and grandparents certain things. So the solutions should be permanent, cannot be. I have seen personally tens and tens of programs across all of the country. 99% failed around water for one simple reason. They only drop the machine and leave. What does the village do? They have no clue after the motor burns out, the membranes are gone, and the expectation for the people has been set like, oh, the government is going to deliver free water, why should I pay for the water? Guess what? Within 12 to 18 months, they have no water, and they go back to drinking the same contaminated water from bore wells. So we are addressing it at a root cause that all of our rural communities, the villages, they are super happy because every day, for now, some of them close to 15 years, without fail, I can guarantee you that trust community pure water is going to be there for the next 15 years. That's the key thing.
How many villages have you all worked with, sir?
So we are about getting close to 600 villages. But it's really a sad thing. We have 600,000 villages in India. Can you imagine? That's why I keep saying to people, start more of these everywhere. The governments want us to do it, but the sad part is the government has to also understand that there has to be a user fee being paid by the families, at least to pay for the operator's salary and for the maintenance of it. Because the moment the government announces, people think it's free. But let's face it, nothing is free in this world. You always pay for it.
Thank you. Ma'am, your work champions decentralized, community-driven solutions, rainwater harvesting, recharge structures, and local stewardship. How does technology, maintenance, and community participation work together to create sustainable water systems?
So this is a very good question, because often we look at restoration, just like Ravi just mentioned. You have a machine fixed, or you create probably a restoration of a well or lake, and then you let it be. It doesn't work. It goes back to garbage. It goes back to square one in no time. So our efforts as an NGO or as a social enterprise, it's always been that whatever project we do, how do we make it sustainable? How do we make it long term? So we basically divided Hyderabad into micro watersheds. Like there are Hyderabad is made of 9 watersheds. We broke it down into 98 watersheds. Because I believe, like in ancient times, in a neighborhood, the people in that neighborhood should manage that water, for which we need to make water visible for them in that neighborhood. So we are trying to create systems or templates around this. So in a neighborhood, you have wells, you have lakes, you have abandoned water bodies. It could be heritage or not, but wells, and there is a lot of opportunity to do rainwater harvesting. Like I said, 80% of our cities are concreted. So you take any neighborhood, 80% of it is concreted. Clean water happens within your community if you can capture your rooftop water. That's clean water that can be reused and recharged. The moment you let it out on the roads, it's urban floods, and then it mixes with sewage. It's no good. It's not even ethical to recharge that kind of water. It's not good for Mother Earth, not good for you. And you see this cycle of urban flooding every monsoon. and drought every summer. What does that mean? It just means that we have enough water, but we don't know how to manage it. You know, everyone thinks about rainwater harvesting when it's raining. Keep your buildings rain ready, you know, before the rain happens. So rainwater harvesting is a year-round process. It's not seasonal. That's the first thing that one has to understand. And creating these templates of change where a well, a lake, creating a rain garden, making parks as what we call sponge cities. So we are trying to create these in our neighborhood, and we want to create a model which is like all your wastewater. Like we are working in Kondapur, one of the neighborhoods, which is a 3 square kilometer stretch. There is a well we have revived. We've created a rain garden, and we have revived a 8-acre lake. Now the wastewater that used to come to the lake is supporting 2 large parks. There's Botanical Park and Palapita Park. About 7 million liters of sewage, which was a problem to the lake, is now taking care of 2 lakes in the Palapita Park, 2 lakes in the Botanical Gardens, and supporting 60-acre and 80-acre of vegetation. And we are getting excess treated water which comes back to the lake, because I was not okay with just diverting sewage and shifting the problem from point A to point B to point C. That doesn't work. In that certain neighborhood, how it can be reused. And so imagine a 7 MLD of sewage, which was a problem, is now taking care of 2 large parks in that neighborhood. And we are getting excess treated water to the lake. So we have treated water and rainwater in this 8-acre lake, which was 25 years of toxic sewage in this lake. And we've created an ecosystem where we have 50,000 marl fish thriving in this lake. We also want to create a livelihood model where fishermen and your food comes out of this lake. So these are interesting templates I call it templates of change. Now, I want to protect all 600 step wells in Telangana. I cannot. There used to be 6,000 community wells in Hyderabad. Just in Hyderabad, the Britishers have mapped this, and we have exact locations, Google locations of this. Most of them are filled up. The point is that could have been the answer for our urban flooding, something that was created a few hundred years ago. So how to rebuild this change? So working on a city is very complex, very layered, and very difficult to work with the government. But working in neighborhoods is easy because you can familiarize with that thought process. So we are also creating eco-centers in this lake restored that we have restored. And we are not going to talk about India, we are not going to talk about the state and city. We are going to talk only about Kondapur. Everything about air quality in Kondapur, everything about water quality in Kondapur. How in 25 years, the blue and green has reduced 50% in that locality. How can we rebuild it? So this is the education we need. So we are also connected to Chirek schools. So the children are going to build that content for us along with us. So that also builds awareness for them. So I think these kind of thought processes, I mean, every question does not have the same answer today, but looking at it in different tangents and how we are also going to create a cultural hub out of this lake. We've created a nice floating, a cantilevered deck which can host events. So sort of how about creating a neighborhood tourism out of these water bodies, People will handle it. Why go kilometers to enjoy some lake? Why not in your own neighborhood? So these are things, and awareness is not preaching. So a lot of times, I spent 10 years in awareness, Regina, but I couldn't change even 1% of people. They're listening, they're saying it's a great idea, but they don't go back and do it. So one day when I was toying with this idea, awareness to action, when I changed that sheet around and I said, okay, action to awareness, and that's what worked for me. Create an action and build awareness through that action. So I think that's my perspective of building change. So by creating 20 powerful templates of how a well can be restored and kept sustainable for the next 50 years and creating an asset for the city, I'm trying to answer how these 600 how 600 wells can take interesting knowledge from these 20 restorations, and that's actually happening now. Many communities and villages and towns have started taking up their step wells. They ask for guidance and sequence of what they should do. It's very interesting how it has created a movement in the last 3 years. Before 3 years, no one even talked about a well or a restoration of a well. Today, many towns are wanting the knowledge and taking it back. And we are also trying to rebuild the cultural narratives of what is that city and what is that cultural narrative they have. Because once the well is gone, even the rituals that used to happen. I just want to end by saying one very interesting ritual where in Hyderabad, the Marwadi families who used to live from old ancient times, they were all traders and such, right? So they have this ritual with the well, where a new young mother who delivers her baby, mother's milk is offered to the well, and they have this ritual where she takes her baby, which is just few months old, and she offers mother's milk to that stepwell saying, I'm offering the essence of life to you. Can you give this essence of life forever to my child? Imagine, I mean, it just brought tears when I understood this ritual, but that's not happening these days because there's no wells. Right? So cultural connect and how our ancient, our elders built these systems around water, how wells were, definitely temple tanks were built next to temples. So while they are, protecting temples, they will also revere the water and energies and that provided community water and it will be protected. So there were a lot of systems that they built. I believe that even if we get 2% knowledge from what our ancestors built, we are the most futuristic country in the world today because we have such rich knowledge back in time.
So we have to go back to go forward. That was very, very moving, ma'am, honestly, and I think you've inspired a lot of us, not just with the awareness, but with the action as well. Thank you. I would pose one last question to the three of you. If the world could fix one aspect of water access in the next decade, what would each of you choose and why?
Peter, why don't you have been like doing a monologue?
I can only choose one. I think if I can only choose one, I would say that the right of having access to clean water should be a law in every country around the world, because it's a human right.
You want to go?
Please.
So, for me, I think at ground level, the one definitely, as Peter just said, access to water is a human right and is the most dignified thing for every individual, every family, every community. But achieving it is my purpose. Every village that we touch has to thrive in every aspect of the village life for the families. Education, nutrition, economic activity, those are elements which bring together in a way that the village itself is a happy village. So to me, so it's a starting point is water, but ultimately we want a more holistic solutions for all communities. That's my personal focus and purpose.
I wish to bring the sense of how important water is, and I wish people understand that 3 minutes without air you die, 3 days without water also you die. It's that important, and how come we are chasing development and not even batting our eyelid or taking a look at what is water for us. I mean, water is our future. Water was, and many things that we see. We saw a Cape Town happen right in front of our eyes. How are we reacting to that? How are we going to rebuild? So I would say that all my life going forward, I'm definitely going to look at what are those very innovative things, how can we build this behavior change around water, and I think it's very important because it is life itself.
Very good.
So it is our right, and I think we need to be passionate about it. I don't think it's a choice anymore.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Mr. Peter.
Regina.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I know it's been a little patience for all of us, I guess, but we got it done. And feel free to come up and ask any specific questions, because in the panel discussion, what happens, we focus only at a high level, but if anything more detailed, obviously visit our website or come up and ask any one of us. And thank you, Kalpana. That's something that, by the way, rainwater I was exposed to this about almost 20 years ago. I've traveled around India quite a bit with various organizations that I've been involved over the decades. So I've been to many, many parts of India, and I see how rural communities struggle. Certainly water is always an issue for almost all communities. But the other problem that they face is that they don't have the wherewithal on their own. So I encourage all of you to do some voluntary work in any aspect of whatever you want to impart knowledge, transfers, and adopt a community somewhere, a village or a school, and just help what they need. Some of it is so basic, it is not about money, it's giving time. My view is each one of us should give at least 10% of our time to something meaningful, which it's not about giving, it's really deriving satisfaction. That is the only thing that I like to say. You have to derive satisfaction beyond obviously, doing your work, making money, but you have to derive the satisfaction from voluntary work. Thank you.
Ravi, I would like to take this opportunity, since you work so much in the rural areas, and talk about livelihoods in villages. There are multiple wells. It's not just heritage wells, but there are irrigation wells. There are a lot of wells in the rural areas. If we can restore these wells, very simple, innovative filtration systems. Charigaru is here, and there are many people who are working with amazing innovations. So if we can make well water, give back drinking water, which is very possible today, because most of the wells actually don't have sewage yet. Most of our lakes are
not yet.
Yeah. So if we can restore the wells in villages and provide drinking water and have innovative, very simple methods to filter and give, because this RO water that's supplied in villages, while it is a great thing, why not even pull up the well water and make a difference in people's life? This will also improve their groundwater, and you can make this also a drinking water resource. So I would like to pitch in and work with you guys on that, because I'm really wanting to rebuild ecosystems through wells and water, and the purpose is very clear. You can make it clean drinking water, and believe me, compared to any other water, the well water is still one of the best waters that can be. We can work on this idea.
No, Kalpana, your suggestion is actually well received at our end. What we do is, whenever we come up with some newer idea, we pilot it. We take like 5 villages or 10 villages who are accepting of new things. Then you observe what are the issues around it, and then we roll it out. The first 100 villages actually took us 7 years, because we were learning also, and lots of challenges and issues. But the following 500, we could do it. Now we can do 5,000 in less time than what we did for that. So we always do a pilot and really test it out. We are about scale. My personal belief, at least from my perspective, is, I always say this, I know my wife is going to laugh. I only dig an inch wide, but I go 10 miles deep. I don't go 10 miles wide and dig 1 inch deep in anything I do. It's always been my philosophy since I was age 18. So I won't give up my age right now, but I can tell you I've done few. Thank
So
you.
the thing is, people will hold on to their wells if they look at it as drinking water sources today.
Right.
Absolutely, they will hold on to it, and people will build that behavior change will happen like autopilot. So
Yeah,
I really
and it
believe
should
that.
be for the community, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's an important element.
If there's anyone in the audience who would like to ask any questions. Yes, please.
Good evening. Thank you very much. You people have given a lot of insights on water. I also work on a wastewater treatment using phytoremediation for a company called Shubhra Biotech. And see, my question is like, first of all, we also need to reduce wastage. I feel that a lot of people waste water. So there is a government norm of 135 liters per person, but I think we should reduce that norm as well. Because I see a lot of people taking 100, 200 liters of shower. I think we have to respect water. Today we don't respect water because we feel it's abandoned, it's available free, and we have abundant water in rivers that goes into the ocean. 90% of the water goes there. And second thing, what we are staring at is we are going to wait till the glaciers are going to completely erode. Once the glaciers are going to go, all our rivers are going to get dry. So I think we have to create this awareness how to reduce water usage, reuse, recycle and reduce. This should be our mantra. So I want the panelists to answer how we can address this, how we can create this awareness among the public and help everybody to save the water.
Awareness we've done for years and years. This is not going to work. One drought will teach you everything that you want to do with water. That's the behavior change. And when you have lesser water, and I feel we are paying very less for water. Water is much, much, much more valuable. The government spends 48 rupees per litre and it's selling you at 11 or 14 rupees. I mean, it may be due to political reasons, whatever reasons. The moment the value for water, and why are we giving 20,000 litres free for communities that are, they really can pay? I mean, why are we giving free water? So the point is, the moment we build value for the water, see the power bills went up, everyone went solar. The water bills goes up, then everyone will do the right things for water, chase water harvesting, look at how to reuse, redo. So I think that's what it is. Tanker is very easy to buy and you get free water. And municipal water, there are many apartments who proudly say that we only run on municipal water. Municipal water is river water. It's food security for tomorrow. And you have no right to use river water the way you want to. It's only for drinking, but you use it for everything else. So the awareness has to come in different levels. I mean, it's an individual's responsibility. I believe first act as an individual, become responsible, as a family become responsible, as a community become responsible, as a city become responsible, as a state, and then it goes to the nation. The starting point is the individual. What are you making? What are the changes you will do tomorrow, not or today, to reduce your consumption? The action starts there.
I think Kalpana's point is actually talking about economics of water. World over, people pay for water. It's not free. So this whole concept of free water is itself totally wrong. The government and the society and all the communities have to recognize that once you start charging for water, and I'm not saying you have to charge exorbitant amounts, sufficient so that we can deal with it in the more responsible way. That automatically what happens is the moment somebody's paying for it, believe me, they will reduce the consumption automatically. Even if you say you can save 10% or 20%, that's still good enough. But the behavioral change comes from cost. It has to cost something to everyone. believe me, when we supply purified water, we charge, it's not free. The equipment, we get it, is donated or whatever. But for the maintenance, people are paying. They're happy to pay. You know how much they spend a whole month, a family of 4? Around 60 rupees. And that's nothing for them. They can afford it, and they are happy to pay for it. They even probably will pay for 100, but we want to make sure that it's sufficient enough and they value it. So I believe every citizen, can afford to pay for water.
I would like to add on your point with adult education. I agree that doesn't work. I haven't seen one program around the world where you can educate adults to change behavior. It seems to be impossible. But what would help in my eyes is that if we would push more the education in school. It starts now at how important nutrition is, and I think we have to work more in this area, how valuable and how important water is with the smaller kids. And when they start to teach their parents, this works better than the other way around in these cases. And regarding the costs, I can tell you from my own experience, half of a year I live in southern Spain. It never rains in southern Spain. So they have a huge water issue, and they started with adult education for many, many years, telling people you cannot waste so much water and so on and so on. Nothing changed. So since 3 years, they increased the price of water quite substantially, and all of a sudden, people are starting to worry about that we are wasting water, which costs a lot of money. This comes back to your first question in this evening. We have to create that water has an extreme value. And unfortunately, for most people, value is money. It shouldn't be, but that's how people function.
Okay.
Anyone else? Yes, lady in the back.
There is one solution, I think, from your side. You will keep all our ministers, irrigation ministers are only, or what is
Thank you for such a wonderful discussion. I had a question that if it so if we want to contribute time. Hi. So my question was that if we want to contribute in terms of our time to this cause, how is it that we can go about it?
That's the question I was waiting for all night long.
I would say the number one thing is to reach us through our website, and we'll figure out what area of interest that you would have, and we always accept volunteers. Most of our leaders, almost, I shouldn't say more, 100% of our leadership team is pro bono. Not just doing like 1 hour, 2 hours here and there. Some of us have been doing, not me, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about our friend Lakshmi here, and Apu, and then Pratiksha, and several others. They dedicate a lot of their time, and they've been doing it for years. So you have to have a passion around this, then I'm sure we'll figure out a way to, exploit your talents.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you, because a lot of people, once they see a success story, I get 100 calls like, how do we volunteer with you, how do you? And these volunteers, when we start, either they intern with us or they volunteers, and within 2-3 months they are missing in action. So that's not how it works. You have to, it's very difficult to replicate passion, but you can take inspiration and you can do something consistently, you know, then that volunteer meets purpose. You know, that's the kind of volunteership. I tell school children also, don't come to us for certificates. We don't give certificates. We give you valuable wealth of educating you in the water world, but we don't give you certificates. Don't work for us because we give you a certificate.
Maybe just a badge.
So for starters, they can approach y'all.
Absolutely,
They can
there is
come volunteer with your initiatives.
an
I think
intern,
that's
they can volunteer.
good enough to start with. Okay, I will close this panel discussion for today. Thank you, Kalpana ma'am, Mr. Ravi and Mr. Peter. Tonight reinforced a simple truth. Safe water is not just a service. It is health, dignity, equity, and generational progress. By solving water, we unlock the future for millions of families. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Regina.
Thank you,
you,
Regina,
everyone.
for your wonderful moderation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all. Thank you to all the panelists for these insightful contributions. We truly appreciate your wisdom and your perspective that you shared today. Thank you all for joining us. A warm thank you to all the audience for your patience and engagement. Please join us for dinner and cocktails right outside. Hopefully we'll have some truly inspiring discussions outside as well. Thank you.
For more videos like this, subscribe Big TV channel.